Hey, I want to apologize for yesterday. I scheduled a live in the morning thinking that it would give more people time to prepare, but I got involved with a bunch of manual labor type activities yesterday and at about 2:15 realized I was exhausted and didn't feel like doing a live. And so I canceled it, not thinking that it would worry anybody. And several of you were kind of concerned when I canceled. So I apologize. I will never do that again. I don't want to cause false concern for people thinking something happened. But there's a big push, as always, to discredit everything. This Shelly's Mouse fake ass account, two accounts that are both fake, both have a mouse, claiming to be Lori King's boyfriend, even though she was married. And yet, the pictures of the mice are female. So he's her boyfriend, but his profile picture is that of a female mouse. And trying to discredit. I only know this because they mentioned me. So I saw it in my mentions yesterday. Yesterday, day before yesterday. All I ended up doing was taking screenshots of everything, sending it to the fucking cops, along with everything I knew about Lori King, which is considerable since I was involved with Ivory Garden and Pat Goodwin at the time. Knew a lot about Lori King, knew a lot about Ivory Garden. Not to mention I had been battling Doug Mesner for years already. And so, but there's a big push to discredit now. Oh, I was Lori King's boyfriend that nobody knew about. And so this anonymous account claiming to be Lori King's boyfriend, even though she was married, is going to come along and dispel everything about Lori King's death. Lori King was a co-founder of Ivory Garden, isn't even the first founder that ended up dead, but just happened to Amber Volatin, known as Menagerie in the survivor community, because they all have these weird fake names, or they did. I don't know if they still do. And drove 3 states over to get Lori King unannounced and drove her all the way back to the house. And then during the weekend of the second annual Ivory Garden conference, Lori King committed suicide in her house. So she went and got Lori, brought her to her house, and then Lori King ends up dead. And there's no fucking questions asked at all. None. Bruce Turner was the cop that was down there. You know? They're very, very good at buying off police. But the whole story, and then Lori King's husband ends up dead less than a year later, you know, because he had a problem with what happened to Lori. But I guess none of this shit is illegal anymore. Child trafficking ain't illegal anymore. Do whatever you want. Murder ain't illegal anymore. Do whatever you want. You know? It gets frustrating to deal with. It gets frustrating. And they all come at me as a group. Thank God the emails at least have slowed down. They probably have figured now that the cops are starting to actually take this shit seriously. And so I just forward all the emails. This is what I got today. You know, I take screenshots of everything so there's no more erasing emails that they sent. You know? And so it's just I am not in the mood for any games today. Just not in the mood for it. All of this stuff is frustrating. The fact that they can do whatever they want Thomas is once again saying that I'm in league with Tara Joyce. You're right, Thomas. The bitch runs around and tells everyone I'm a fucking pedophile, but we're besties. We fucking do coffee in the morning together while she's running around telling everyone who will listen that I'm a fucking pedophile. It's endearing, wouldn't it be to everyone else? You know? But that's their game. Oh, you can't believe them because they're working with so and so. But when it comes down to it, I think they're all working together. I think they're all in collaboration. I think they all work this as a group because this is what they do to victims. And it ends up scaring people and they end up shutting up. Nathan Stoltman, perfect example. And if they can't get you to shut up, they just Isaac Cappy you, which is what Andy Villa threatens to do to me all the time. And yet he thinks that he is just all that in a goddamn bag of chips. And why? Because Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross tells him so. You know? The lube that they found at P. Diddy, you better send it to my fucking sheriff because they obviously don't have enough lube. They're so willing to crawl up each other's fucking asses. They obviously need lube. So if there's lube, extra lube at P. Diddy's, send it to the Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff. You know? And people wonder why I'm frustrated with this. It's all about child trafficking. They've murdered victims. They were shutting down survivors. Lucien Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, needs to be fucking investigated, along with the felon Thomas and all of their fucking associates. They all need to be investigated and stopped. But to say that is like I'm talking a different language. Ancient Sumerian, I guess. You know? And it's just irritating to deal with. And I drink out of this cup not because I care about the saying, but because it's a big ass cup. And I like, when I drink tea, I like a big ass cup with tea. Hello. I'm probably not going to stay on here long, but I wanted to come on and say nothing. What happened yesterday was I exhausted myself during the day. You know, I'm getting older. I'm not 20 anymore. And I did a lot of manual labor yesterday. And it felt great. But you know, at the very end of the afternoon, it was not conducive to have, because I was tired. I was exhausted. And, but it felt good to get some stuff done. This child trafficking stuff is just too much. And so now I've started, because like I said, I crossed the line. When I crossed the line, I took my place, like I said, several lives ago. And now that it's done, there's no takebacks, there's no going back over, so I might as well just do what I need to do. They can target everyone else's kids, but even mentioning their kids, oh, let me clutch my pearls. You're threatening, you know? God takes out the bad people's kids. There's all kinds of scriptural stuff written that God has dealt with, done it, you know? And that's who they're battling. They don't believe in God. And if they do believe in God, they're above God. That's what they believe. A lot of people do. A lot of people think that their shit doesn't make any difference. They can do whatever evil shit they want. They can murder people. They can bear false witness all the time, which is what you're doing when you're gossiping about someone. When you're talking shit about someone, you're bearing false witness. That has consequences. You can tell yourself it has no consequences, especially because it's you doing the talking. But funny enough, usually those people who are doing the talking and bearing false witness on each other are the biggest wine bags when they find out that people are talking about them. Then they're the victims. They can victimize anybody they want, but if someone just gives them back their own shit, oh my God, you know, it's all of this child trafficking needs to be investigated. The Satanic Temple after school daycare needs to be investigated. All of the shit that Isaac Cappy was involved with and everyone he was involved with, everyone he was involved with needs to be investigated. You know, that's just the way it works. It needs to be investigated. And by someone other than Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross, who obviously is running out of lube because, you know, he can't crawl up their ass fast enough, and I would assume that that takes lube. I don't know. I don't crawl up people's asses. It all needs to be investigated. But I'm just exhausted with all of it. That's why I've been doing other stuff, because I'm just sick and tired of my whole life living like this, you know? And it is the epitome of frustration. Banging your head against a wall, trying to get this investigated, thinking you're doing a good thing, trying to help kids. And they can say, well, you haven't helped one kid. Dude, what I'm trying to do is bust the goddamn organization that's fucking hurting kids. That's how I help kids. I'm not fucking Rambo. I'm not going to slap on machine guns and cat, you know, go run around and crawl into ditches and all of that shit. That's not what I do. You know, that's not what I do. The best way for me to help kids is to expose this child trafficking BS. Hey, Kristen, that's what needs to happen. It needs to be investigated. It needs to be exposed. This group all works as a group. They come together. It's not just one, it's all of them, all at once. That's what happened. You can go back and look, go back a year and a half into my YouTube and watch when I opened up comments and see what happened. They all come all together as an army, all sides. They're all in league with each other. They're all in league with each other. There's no separation. Thomas, the Dead Isaac Cappy Club, which includes Tara Joyce. I'll believe court papers when I fucking see a judge's ruling. Otherwise, it's just bullshit that you're just feeding everybody, making everyone think that, oh, we're against each other. But there's no proof other than what you say, and you guys are liars. You know? Has anyone, I might as well, since Kristen brought up my book. It's not like all this stuff is new. It's not like I'm just brand new talking about this stuff now. I published this book in 2012. Obviously, I had to write it first. I have a blog, davidshurter.com. You know, you can go read there. I started that in 2011. Anybody who wants to buy a book from me, it's $30. You know, it's $30. I charge $30. PayPal and Venmo are just D, my first initial and my last name, D Shurter. And that's for people who live in America. If you don't live in America, you need to get a hold of me because I'll have to figure out how much postage is. Postage to Australia is $40. $40 to ship this book, and that's the cheapest rate I can get. So, you know, shipping has become outrageously. Thank you, Kristen. Shipping has become outrageous. And but it all needs to be investigated. And you can get it on Audible. The cool thing about the Audible is now that dude who did my Audible, I got him my publisher got him at a discounted rate. but now he's famous and he charges like 3 to 4 times more than what he charged me. Because I was his first. I was someone he was actually experimenting with. He asked my publisher, could he experiment? And it turned out really well. The Audible it's like you're reading a scary book. It's the music and everything has just been. Thank you, Kristen. I have been at this for a long time, and I'm getting old, and the attacks have just been the fact that they were able to come into my house, steal an old laptop, then brag about stealing that old laptop, and not a fucking thing happened, just blows my mind. They could blow up a gas station, because the Earling, Iowa gas station, that was a terrorist attack. I was getting death threats, but it's funny because now my sheriff, Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross, is in the same position, the same situation he put his deputy Donovan in, who killed himself a week and a half before that gas station explosion. With that said, anybody who's, if you're feeling low and you're feeling like there's nothing, reach out to people. I don't even know with all the cuts, I'm sure they're going to cut the suicide hotline. They did it for veterans. So I don't even know if that works anymore, but there are people out there who care. I know when you're in that it seems like there's no one who cares. But if you open up your mind, you'll be surprised how many people, we all affect people, it was 100% a terrorist attack. Anybody else, they would have busted it as a terrorist attack. They put a bomb. It almost blew up a town. It almost killed the people, let alone Dan and his brother-in-law who were in the gas station. It could have seriously hurt a bunch of people. And what did my sheriff do? They lied about it and then told me, well, it's not our job to count explosions. I couldn't believe that was the argument. Is it your job to consider all of the death threats that I was getting? Because Doug Mesner, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, and his group, Oh, yeah, John, that group. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. And that I didn't know him as Gray. I never knew that that's what he called himself. He had been friends with me on Facebook and Messenger for years. I didn't really know who he is because I have people that have befriended me. I don't know. If most of you were standing right in front of me, I wouldn't have a clue who you were because I don't know your faces. If you told me who you were, I would probably recognize it. But then one day got mad at me and started sending me pictures of him. And all I could do is type back and say, dude, lay off the drugs. People who do drugs have a certain look. They look like they have been rode hard and put away wet. Isn't that how the phrase goes? And so all of this needs to be investigated because the kids deserve better. They deserve better. And the fact that schools are letting the Satanic Temple come into their schools with this after-school daycare bullshit, but the head of the Satanic Temple was all over national news, pulling his dick and balls out and laying them on a gravestone, the late Westboro minister's late mother, to make her gay. But that's who they deem appropriate to be around kids? Really? Sarah, I hate it when people tell me to get over it or things will get better because they don't get better. They've been like this for I don't know how long. They don't get better. And what I hear when people tell me that is, shut up, I don't care. No, 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 no. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. No, 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 no. That's what I get from it, you know? And so if that's the way you want to be, then go ahead. But you reap what you sow. So if you're not willing to put yourself out there to help save a kid, why do you think heaven is going to put itself out there to save your stupid ass? If you're not willing to help kids, you reap what you sow. You know, they don't want to hear it. And you can never get over it. There's no way to get over it. To get over what I went through, people, when I start talking details of the shit that it traumatizes them just to listen to it, let alone experience it as a child. So, of course, their cognitive dissonance is going to tell them, oh, no, that's not happening. Oh, no, that couldn't possibly be true. What's J-Lo doing on television now? Oh, my God, I'm missing my television program. Whatever it is. I don't even know if J-Lo is. That's just what popped into my head. I don't watch television, so I don't watch any of the shit. You know? And so, what kids am I talking about? The 800,000 kids that disappear from that missing and exploited children a year. That's the kids that I'm talking about. The missing and exploited children. But I'm sure that's going to go to the wayside too, because we don't want to talk about that either. You know? They get rid of all the FAA places, and now the planes are falling out of the fucking sky. But it's a mystery why. You know, it's a mystery why we're having planes fall out of the air. They just got rid of all the people who actually deal with nuclear bombs. And then the next day we're like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't have fired them. Maybe we should get them back. But what could go wrong with letting 25-year-olds muck around in shit we weren't even supposed to touch? You know? SRA for longer. It's hard to get through with all the psyops, honey traps, and false opposition. Exactly, John. And that's what this is all about. That's what this is all involved with. Psyops, honey traps. For those of you who don't know what honey traps are, that gray dude and Emma are that, oh, we're survivors. And what they do is they draw out real survivors. They get all their information out, and then they fucking target them to shut them up. That's what ends up happening. That's what honey traps do, you know? And so they draw in people thinking that they're safe, and people want to hear about them. And, oh, hey, Saki, people want to hear. And, oh, yeah, they want to hear until they realize that you're a threat. And then they'll take you out any way they can. And if that means they can show up at your house and shoot you in the... They can come and terrorize you. You can do a video saying you're not suicidal, and if you end up dead, you didn't do it yourself. You go off a fucking bridge the very next day. And then you have a whole group of people. I mean, Isaac Cappy, perfect example. He said he wasn't suicidal, and now you can buy a deluxe 2 CD set of all of his suicide shit. Fuck, you can go get it, and it has his autopsy photos in it. I've never heard of such a thing. Never heard of such a thing. Most people, you can't even get that shit. But Isaac Cappy, boy, you can just $100 and you can get a deluxe 2 CD set, autopsy photos, police phone calls. They have everything on there. It was a bit of an overkill situation, if you ask me. Because what other suicide do they have where they do a deluxe 2 CD set? You know, that you can buy for $100. What suicide have you ever heard of that's like that? Other than Isaac Cappy. It's just, the whole thing about it is you can see his dead corpse sitting on the edge of the bridge. He has sunglasses on and he wasn't moving. He was dead. Show me a video where he was fucking moving on that bridge. You would think sitting on that bridge, he might adjust himself, maybe smooth his ass a little bit. He doesn't move. Doesn't move. Huh. Cappy was just famous. They did what they did because he was having an effect. Lori King didn't get a deluxe 2 CD set. Fuck, she got Amber Valentin. She's a famous lettuce lady, you know? But I'm not supposed to talk about Amber Valentin because she's a transvestite or I don't know what she is, you know? I have no clue. I don't know what she refers to herself. I knew her as Menagerie, you know? Show me one video where Isaac is moving on that bridge. Other than toppling over into the traffic, he wasn't moving at all. There's no videos of him moving. It's almost like someone put his dead ass body on that bridge. Who could that be? Maybe Phoenix Enigma and Daniel Dowd, who spent 4 years, 4 long years. Phoenix Enigma telling everybody how he knew the minute he drove under an overpass, even though there were no cops and he supposedly didn't know Isaac. But 4 years later, after I get involved, now suddenly the dude who was driving under the overpass, who knew the minute he drove under that overpass, is now no longer driving under the overpass. He's on the fucking bridge with Daniel Dowd, and they want to be heralded as heroes because they were trying to keep Isaac from jumping off. Daniel Dowd, the same dickhead who was in my town when Owen dropped over dead. And I know that because he was posting live videos on YouTube. But when I tell my sheriff that, he argues about a fucking picture from an account that didn't have anything to do with anything. But has never once brought up those live videos of Harlan. Never once. You know? They murdered. What I know about Isaac is he reached out to the Saw Man. He was terrified. And they got him at that military base that was 2 minutes away from the bridge. I was always told it was 20, but Geo Farnsworth corrected me and said, no, it's only 2 minutes away. So it's 2 minutes away from the fucking bridge. You know, but all this story has changed. But hey, that's what happens, isn't it? History is fluid. It changes. If you go through something today, it's like the Mandela effect. You know, you do something today. You fell over and hurt your ankle last week. But now, since it's the week after, you didn't fall over and hurt your ankle. You fucking flew in the sky like Superman. And that's how it's, oh, okay. Oh, you didn't fall down and hurt your ankle last week. Now you're flying around like Superman. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. And people wonder why survivors end up getting munched up with this stuff, you know? And it's because they don't know what to do. Me, it just pisses me off. It just pisses me off. If you want to fucking be stupid, then do everyone a favor. Convince yourself you don't breathe oxygen and act accordingly. You know? Because this rewriting shit doesn't work. It doesn't work. You know? They have a deluxe 2 CD set, but now the very people who were driving under the overpass, and Dowd wasn't even supposed to be there at all. So now, 4 years later, now they're saying that they were on the bridge, but that doesn't cause any red flags to go up at all. The whole story changes, but it doesn't cause. It's just like Lori King and this dickhead Shelly the Mouse coming forward saying, well, I was the boyfriend of the married woman. I know you've never heard of me. I just set up my account a year ago, but I know everything. And because I'm an anonymous account, you got to listen to me and not the motherfucker who was there. I'm talking about myself. I knew Lori King, met Lori King, was instrumentally involved with everything at the time. But this anonymous account with the female mouse profile picture, they need to be accepted more than I do. They need to be more, that they have more information. They're more of an authority. It's like fucking Thomas. He's a fucking felon. You want to know what? I'm not a felon, but he has more pull, more authority. The felon is the one who tells the truth, but the dude who's never been to fucking jail, I obviously am lying for whatever reason. You know? It's just, it is tiring to deal with. It's exhausting to deal with. It's just like what Aquino told me, Kristen, when I was growing up as a kid. No one would believe me. And if they did believe me, they wouldn't care. That's not true, though. I know people care. I know people, when it comes down to push coming to shove, people care. That's the problem that they have now. People care. They just took it for granted that nobody cared. Nobody knew what to do. But Shelly the Mouse, let me tell you, Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff, you can go call them. You have all kinds of information about Lori King. Call them, because they know about all your shit now anyway. I took screenshots of everything and sent it all to them. They know all about you now. So if you know something about Lori King that nobody else knows, go ahead. They're just dying to hear from you. Or maybe not. Because I have a feeling that my Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff, like I said, if you have a few extra dollars, you may want to think of buying some lube on Amazon and sending it to my sheriff's department. Because I'm sure, as much as they crawl up each other's ass, they're probably running low. But the dude who pulls his dick and balls out and lays them out on a tombstone for national cameras, he's the dude it's okay to have around kids. This satanic temple, the dude who pulls his dick and balls out in front of and that's after he made all these gay couples kiss, and he pours milk all over him, and he wears his little horned hat, you know. But he's the acceptable one. He's the one you want to listen to about kids, you know. Not to mention the majority of people involved with the Satanic Temple after school daycare, if anyone would fucking investigate it, you'd find out the same thing everyone who has investigated it would find. It's connected to a bunch of fucking convicted pedophiles. So I'm sure those convicted pedophiles are very safe around your kids. Isn't that how it works nowadays? Shit, when you put an ad, when you try to call and get a babysitter for your kid, I'm sure every single one of you was, well, I'm just checking. If he's a pedophile, great, send him on over. I know he'll be safe with my kids. Is that how it fucking works? I don't have kids, so maybe I don't know how it works. You know, maybe pedophiles are the prerequisite of what you want around your kid. Well, if you're my parents, that's who you want, because they'll pay you money to fuck your kids. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to my siblings. You know? You can just tell I am just not in a good mood about this stuff. I am so exhausted with it. And I feel like I have blood all over my forehead from beating it on a brick wall. And you would think that people would be more concerned about kids. You would think. You know, you would think. You would think that someone would actually listen to what I'm saying and just look at it. You know? You would think. But that's not how it works. I wasn't meant to be a father in this life. Great. I have kids in this life. That's who they would target. You know? Shit, they don't have, they just took out Owen. I have to be careful about having any friends. You know? They can target him. They can murder my friend. They can brag about it. They can post all kinds of live videos all over it and nothing fucking happens. Oh, something happened all right. 6 months after the fact, Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross sends them all a group email, including me, and says, all you have to do is go to my blog, type in Neil Gross in the thing, and say, I know why Neil Gross can't be trusted, with screenshots, and read the fucking article. You can read what he sent all of us. You know? That's how it works. That's how it works. They can murder my friends, and the police fight them, protect them. That's what ends up happening. They could blow up a goddamn gas station, could have hurt how many people? But it's not their job to count explosions. It's not their job to look into all the death threats that I was getting at the time, all the attacks that I was suffering at the time. Deputy Donovan, who they were using to go after me with my dogs, he commits suicide a week and a half before, but nothing has anything to do with anything. It's all just separate, just coincidences. My whole life is just a whole long series of coincidences. I start talking about Isaac Cappy, and the Dead Isaac Cappy Club descends upon me. First, it was Phoenix Enigma, and Daniel Dowd, and Geo Farnsworth, and Tara Joyce, and then it was Thomas. They all descend on me, but it's all fucking coincidence. Then Owen drops over dead, and they're sending me fucking pictures, live videos of Harlan, but it's all a goddamn fucking coincidence. They send me all kinds of death threats. The cop that they're using to go after me with my dogs kills himself, and the gas station explodes a week and a half later, which they lied about because I know that history changes, but one explosion that levels the place is different than 2 explosions that happen 9.5 minutes apart. But it's just a big fucking coincidence. Not everything lives in a fucking vacuum. Nothing has anything to do with anything else. You know? That's the problem I have with it. You know? Statistically speaking, I'm surprised I haven't won the lottery 50 fucking times already. Because it's just coincidence, right? And since I'm so lucky to have so many coincidences in my life, shit, I'm surprised I haven't won the lottery 50 fucking times already. You know? But it's all the same people doing the shit to me. Doug Mesner, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. Now it's all the people that were involved with Isaac. You know, all the people that were involved with Isaac. I was helping Isaac. Actually, I was helping Isaac. He was getting information from me. You know? If you win the lottery. I'm actually writing a couple more books. I'm actually writing 2 books. One about the whole gay thing, and one about what happened after Rabbit Hole. So, hey, Sherilyn. And so, you know, as irritated as I am, I'm just going to pray. I'm just going to take this moment and pray. Try and get myself into a better mood. Now you understand why I don't have as much hair as I should. Because I'm constantly just ripping it out. You know? Because what else can you do? What else can you do? You know? This all needs to be investigated. It all needs to be investigated by someone other than me. What am I going to do? Go do citizen's arrest? Is that what I'm expected to do? Maybe I could buy my own fucking DNA kit on Amazon. I'll do my own little fucking DNA. See about that? Because it's not the cop's job to count explosions. It's not the cop's job to investigate death threats. It's not the cop's job, at least in Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff. I don't know what the fuck their job is, but crime doesn't have anything to do unless they're arresting their competition. So if there's other people using drugs that aren't theirs, they arrest them. That's their job, to arrest the competition's drug people. That's what it seems like, because everything else is totally not their job to count explosions, not their job to look at death threats, not their job to look at people who are breaking into your house, it's not their job to do anything that has, it's my job. So I need to be fucking Rambo. I need to go get all my fucking gear up and go save kids because the cops can't fucking be interested. And then what do? Then I go, what do I set up my own goddamn judge place? I get to put my judge, and then what? Do I lock him in my fucking basement? Is that what I do? Is that the prison that I get to do? I get to put him in my own fucking prison because I'm a cop, right? I'm going to do a citizen's arrest, and then I'm going to take him to court and do the citizen's arrest judge thing, and then I'm going to put him in a pony station because that's my job. Where's my paycheck from it? You know, if it's my job to go investigate crime, and it's my job to actually deal with the criminals, and it's my job to, when did I get hired? And who the fuck is my employer? Because I really would like to have a word with them because this is bullshit. You know? And I know you guys get tired of listening to me bitch. And I know that this is not the nicest live that I've done. But I'm just so sick and tired of the bullshit and having to justify myself with the bullshit. The felon Thomas will tell everyone that I'm working in league with Tara Joyce, who is running around when she tried to befriend me, was running around telling everybody that I was a fucking pedophile. Oh yeah, we're fucking besties. You know? We're besties. I love Tara Joyce running around. She is a fucking porn actress that hangs out with Barely Legal, a group that is known as Barely Legal Productions for porn stuff. But I'm a pedophile, and because she's calling me a pedophile, I'm supposedly her friend? Yeah. Let me run around and tell everybody how you fuck kids and see how endearing you feel towards me. You know? Let me run around and tell everyone all kinds of bullshit about you, and then let's see how much you love me. But I guess I'm different. I'm in love with Tara Joyce. That's what Thomas is fucking saying all the time. It's disgusting. But that's when he's saying that I'm a fake gay man and I'm Jewish. And I have to fight with that as well. I've never had to fight to defend the fact that I'm a fucking gay guy in my life. And the fact that I have to argue it with a fucking felon who's involved with child trafficking is just beyond me. It is beyond me. Why would any straight man convince everyone that he's gay? And I mean, I was married to a dude for 20 fucking years. Boy, that's some kind of undercover thing right there. You know? I probably won't stay on here very long because the more I talk, the more irritated I'm becoming. You can tell in my voice, you know. If I had my way and I had the funds, I would get a hold of my friend in Lincoln and ask if they wanted to meet me in Omaha because I need a hug in the worst way, you know? And you know who I'm talking about. Pray, brother, we all need. Okay. Father, Mother, Heaven, we come to you as your children. We ask for grace. I guess that's what I need to ask for is grace. To remind us that even when it all seems overwhelming and it all seems like it's going nowhere and it's all falling apart, we just need your grace to keep us moving forward. Because if we don't do something, it will fall apart. We ask that you help us be an inspiration. That's what I like to talk about. Help us actually inspire someone in our lives today. Someone that, maybe smile at them, maybe acknowledge them, maybe say hello, maybe even stop and have a few-minute conversation and ask how they are and actually care to hear their response. Let us emulate our brother Jesus Christ and lead by example. And that's what I try to do. Temper my anger, because I am so frustrated today. I'm just beyond frustrated. If I could get out of here, I would today. We are grateful that you sent your son, Jesus Christ, our brother, to teach us the word and help us become the people that we need to be. And we say these things lovingly in your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay. I don't know how to do a link. The problem is that I have someone up here. They want attention, and I think I forgot something this morning. As irritated as I've been, I forgot something. That's exactly what it is. I forgot something. Oh, yes. Thank you for those kisses. Thank you for those kisses. Thank you for those kisses. So, one of these days I'm going to do a live. And it'll probably be a weird live. But I think I'm going to bring you the only reason, Sarah, to be quite honest, that I have made it through the last couple days is because my dogs are so loving. And I always thank God. I've been grateful. Yesterday I was in bed bawling because I was grateful for the things that God has provided. Heaven has provided me. I'm not running from bombs, and I have a house and my utilities are still on, obviously, and stuff like that. God does have his hand in my life. All right. Give me a minute. I'm probably going to have to get off here because once it starts, it's not going to stop. And pretty soon the table's going to start rocking like I'm having a earthquake. It's just having this group of people who are so focused and fucking everything up in my life. Every fucking thing they want to hurt. They want to ruin my finances. They want Thomas is, oh, well, if he becomes homeless, I don't care. Yeah, you do, because you're trying to make it fucking happen. That's the shit that, I'm tired of it. And the whole, oh, just hang in there, it'll get better. How did that work for Isaac Cappy? That's the shit everyone was saying to Isaac at the time. Worked well for him, didn't it? Lori King, Max Spears, you know, Owen, my sister Cindy. That's David Klotz. I can go on a whole long list of people that they have murdered in my life, you know, but it'll get better. You know, hang in there. Jesus will come save you. You know, I don't even want to go there because really when it comes down to it, God is the only thing that keeps me sane. Focusing on our brother and asking our brother for help is sometimes the only thing that keeps me sane. Because otherwise, I would be bald. Because I would rip my hair out. And I'm just, it's so frustrating. For any of you who want a book, give a good book as a gift. You know, PayPal and Venmo or D Shurter. My first initial, my last name. Doug, Lucian Greaves has committed a lot of crimes. You want to know what? Anybody else who would have done what he did, pulling his dick and fucking balls out, would have gone to jail for that. It's called public indecency. So don't tell me that he has never fucking committed any crimes. Go fuck yourself. You know? He's protected. That's what it is. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, is protected. That's what it is. It's not that he's so law-abiding, you know? Dude, he's not a Satanist. He's an atheist, dickhead. So it's not about religious expression. The whole Michael Aquino, oh, you can't come after me. And you know that this is another, it's either Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, himself. Cheers is actually either Doug or one of his Satanic Temple idiots. You know? Fucking doing what he's doing, having unprotected sex, that's a crime as well. You know? That's a crime as well. So save it. See, they're all in here just trying to rewrite history, trying to rewrite bullshit. And the reason why is because they don't want anyone to fucking invest. If they don't have anything to hide, then what difference does it make? They investigate me all the fucking time. Well, aren't you just the smartest little fucking dumbass? It's called the Satanic Temple. Well, he's all over on national news telling people he's an atheist, not a Satanist. So shove that bullshit straight up your ass. He can be investigated, and it's not religious discrimination. He's an atheist. And what it makes him is a liar. He's not winding. You know what winds me up, dude? The fact that he murders people. That he was directly involved with the murder of Lori King. That's what winds me up. He was probably directly involved in Lori King's husband's murder. Great. Yeah. Him pulling that his dick and balls out. He has a great sense of humor. Other people don't find him so funny. You know? He's not someone I would want around my kids, but then I don't have kids, you know? You're right. Nothing is happening. Bye-bye. They don't want to be investigated. It was Lucian Greaves it's Lucian Greaves who's part of the group that threatens me online all the time. all the time. You know, death threats, brag about breaking into my house, brag about hurting things in my life, brag about killing Owen. They fucking brag about it constantly. But you're right, they're law-abiding citizens. You know, they're law-abiding citizens. Fucking child trafficking pieces of shit who are fucking targeting your kids. And if that's who you're entertained by, I can't help you. You know? Can't help you. Can't help you. Because you're fucked in the head. There's no helping you anyway. There's no help for you. If that's who you're all enmeshed with and all gaga over, there's no help for you. That's how I look at it. There's no help for you. There is no help for that. None. Well, I'm at an hour, and so I'm going to get off here because I like to keep them at an hour. I will be doing another one. What is today, Wednesday? I'll probably do one Friday. You know, and then maybe one this weekend. When I keep them to an hour, I'll start trying to do more at an hour. You know, they don't want to talk about, oh my God, certainly do not want to talk about God. They do not want to talk about Jesus. They're the power. They're the ones who have the authority. They're the ones in control. But that's because they want to fuck your kids, basically. You know? Sarah, I hope so. I hope we're not alone. Anybody who wants to buy a book. See, Thomas, grifters don't sell things. I have a book I'm selling. Grifters just actually, you know, Sawman and Russ Dizdar and all of them, when they were taken, they are grifters. I'm selling a fucking book. That's not grifting, dumbass. You know? PayPal, Venmo is just D Shurter. My first initial, my last name. And let me know where I'm sending it. Let me know who I'm inscribing it to. And and God only knows. I get off here, sometimes I get off here and I have 20 emails waiting for me. That's how it works. That's how it works. And so I have to take screenshots of all of those emails and then I just forward it off in one email with all the screenshots of all of the emails, along with all of the email addresses, you know? And so my email, the best way to get me is david@davidshurter.com. David@davidshurter.com. Russ Dizdar is dead. I wonder what he did to piss them off. I wonder what he did to piss them off. Because the fact that he was running around with Craig Sawyer all over national news, I wonder what he did to piss them off. It's not like they don't eat their own, you know. Beast. Another anonymous account who fancies himself the Beast, you know. It's amazing that you guys can get into rooms because your egos are so big that there's just not enough room to fit more than one of you in a room at a time, you know? So and people take screenshots of this shit all the time. So just because I'm blocking you doesn't mean people don't get your shit. They take screenshots. People take screenshots of this shit all the time. When all the threats were coming on, people were sending me because they were taking screenshots of the crap. you know? So it's not like it doesn't go away. I'm not the only one. I'm not standing here alone, you know? Especially on these lives. There are people in here who have watched me for years, you know? And they have my back. I know that bothers this group because this group wants to fancy themselves as, oh, they can take anyone they want down. But it's kind of hard. I'm not Isaac Cappy. I'm not going to go run and hide. I'm not going to isolate myself like Lori King did, Max Spears did. I'm not going to do any of that. You know, I don't live in a vacuum. I live in small town Iowa. People know who I am. They know what I'm doing. And people, you know, I don't think it's going to keep going the way that it's been going. I don't think it's going to keep going the way that it's going. And I say that because it's not. Things are already shifting. Thank you, Kristen. You know, there's just so with that said, I'm at an hour. I want to get off here. I thank you, Sarah. Fiona couldn't do what she did then. They've changed the laws. So Fiona's not involved with any of it at all anymore. And we don't talk about it because when she finds out that I'm doing, we just end up yelling at each other because she wants me out of it. She doesn't think that any good will come out of it. You know? Maybe she's right. You know? I just know that I need to do what I feel compelled to do. And nothing can stop the hand of God. The will of heaven cannot be thwarted. It cannot be thwarted by anyone. And God and heaven is tired of the child killers. To be quite honest, every once in a while I talk to Fiona. She's living her life, you know, doing the shit that she needs to do in her own life. And she stopped worrying about everybody else, you know. The directed energy weapons that they've had on me for so long that's just terrible has completely fucked her up. And so there's from what I understand, they're still after her, you know. But let me go on record saying that what she did to bring awareness was remarkable. As a woman, especially a woman in Australia, what she did is remarkable. Do I completely trust her? No. But then that's on me. I don't completely trust anybody. I'm not an idiot. I've been at this for far too long, and I'm a survivor. So there is a big part of me that's very paranoid all the time. You know, people in here who know me know that I, you know, trust is earned, not just given. Exactly. And with survivors, that's exactly it. Trust is earned. But I will tell you without a doubt, I love Fiona. I love Fiona. And when Isaac Cappy was down at Fiona's, I wanted to beat Isaac Cappy up because I was hearing the shit over the phone. And so I wasn't a big fan of Isaac in the end. Yes, I'm trying to help him now, but let's just be true. I wasn't a big fan of his. And had I known the collection of people he called friends, the Dead Isaac Cappy Club, I would have never done any of this. I didn't know any of this when I started talking about Isaac. Because, let me say, my respect for Isaac with the friends that he had has dwindled. The fact that he was trying to fight against it and do something good, that is undeniable. Isaac was really trying in the end to expose this, and I commend him for all of that. But his choice in France, to say that it leaves something to be desired, is an understatement. You know? Shit, what did he do? Wait out of penitentiaries and just befriend everyone who got released from a jail? Because that's what it seems like to me. Fucking bunch of criminals, you know? Nasty ass people. And, oh, they had their own little cult following, you know? Right. Especially when you go through abuse as a kid. You don't just give your trust away anymore. Trust is earned. Actors do confuse friends with career possibilities. I think Isaac was so disillusioned. And in the end, he knew that they were all bad. Because he didn't reach out to any of them. He reached out to Craig Sawyer, you know? And so, look out, you know, it's just sad. It's just sad. But again, everything about Isaac when he was alive, who he was involved with, what he was involved with, all of that, it all needs to be investigated because there's smoke and flames there. He reached out to the very wrong people. You know, he reached out to the. You go to my blog and type in Craig Sawyer and see what I wrote about him years ago. You know, years ago I had to deal with that dickhead. So, but he couldn't have called me. I was mad at him. You know, I probably would have told him to go fuck himself. That's the sad part about it. That's stuff I have to live with. You know? And so, because I was angry with them. I was angry with how everything happened down in, you know, when he couldn't bring Ella High Priest to Fiona's family gathering. I was on the phone when he was screaming and breaking shit and acting like an insolent child. Which, to me, growing up with manners, if you're throwing a party and you don't want someone to come to your party, then they don't get invited. That's how it works, you know? And you just accept it. It's their party. They have the choice. You don't throw a fit like a little insolent child and try and demand your way through. And she had a good reason why she didn't want that Ella High Priest at her house, you know? But Isaac didn't want to take no for an answer. And I was on the phone when it all went down. And like I said, if I could have smacked him over the phone, I would have. If I could have reached right through that phone and grabbed him by the collar, I would have, because I was angry at the time. You know? I couldn't believe what I was hearing on the phone. And I was in the United States. I wasn't even in Australia, you know? But regardless, what he was trying to expose is real. And how he ended up is most definitely real. How he ended up. Not the whole story, you know? And if you go and you buy that $100 deluxe 2 CD set of everything Isaac Cappy suicide, ask yourself why you can't do that same thing to all suicides. Why does he have a deluxe 2 CD set of his suicide? Have you ever heard of someone committing suicide and then putting out a deluxe 2 CD set regarding that suicide? Donovan, Neil Gross's deputy, committed suicide. I can't find shit on it, let alone a deluxe 2 CD set. What if I wanted to see autopsy photos of Donovan? I can't get that. But boy, you sure can with Isaac Cappy. You know? Sure can with Isaac Cappy. You got to ask yourselves, why? Why can you get it with Isaac? Because it was overkill. it was done so that to convince people, and it's overkill. It's overkill. And so once you're a survivor, you never get out. Once you go through this as a kid, it jades your whole life. How do you look away? You know, watching kids get slaughtered, watching kids get hunted, you know, being hunted at Alan Bear's house, in all of those secret passage rooms, watching them get hunted. How do you grow? And then people wonder why I'm who I am. Well, fuck, I tell you what, go through the shit that I went through as an adult, let alone as a kid, as an adult, and see how it fucks you up. You know? But you're right. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, he's a great guy. He's so funny. Thomas is just wonderful. They're just the cream of the crop, the best humanity has to offer. Every single one of the dead Isaac Cappy, they're the best humanity has to offer. If that's the fucking case, humanity deserves to die off, flat out. If that's if that's the best of humanity, humanity is doomed and should be, if that's the best we have to offer. And so I'll never stop talking. I'll fight this until I take my last breath. And then on the other side, I doubt I'll stop. You know? I won't stop. And I certainly won't hurt myself. I would never give them the satisfaction ever. Ever. Let alone it would piss off God. I would not want to go hurt myself and then have to go face our maker. Oh no, I don't think that would go well for me at all. You know, I'll live to 150 years old and still be fighting this just to spite them. Brandis Land. I haven't heard of that, Sarah, and I don't know if I want to hear about it right now because I'm already in a bad enough mood. Sarah and Sherilyn, I have a whole group of people, Kristen, that actually have been incredibly just amazing. Just amazing. Just amazing. But feel more than free to send me an email. If you send me an email and you type in, this is what I was talking about, that way I can read it when I'm not so irritated. Chances are I'm probably just going to take a bath this afternoon, soak in the hot water, try and just redirect my attention to something more positive. I like the last live I did. That was such a great live, you know. Kristen, feel more than free. David at davidshurter.com. It's probably the best because they have a hard time screwing with that email. You know? I always pray. That's all I ever do when I get in the tub is pray and talk to God. That is what my baths are. They're 2 and 3 hour prayer sessions is what they are. And I'm freezing. My feet are freezing cold because it's cold here. Cold, 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 cold. You know, cold, cold, cold. Winter is definitely here. And some of the stuff that I did yesterday, the manual labor, was out in the cold. I was helping someone shovel yesterday morning. It was, I think, 12 below wind chill. It was freezing cold. And so, needless to say, by the afternoon, I was exhausted. North Carolina doesn't get a lot of snow, does it? But you guys seem to be getting... We actually have some snow on the ground. But like I know kind of where Saki lives, they've got a lot more snow, and the further east you go, the more snow you get. And so it's just amazing. It's amazing how the weather patterns have changed. That's why I kind of want to go to Omaha because they had a thing where Omaha has like this heat dome, so there's no snow on the ground, I guess, or there's very little snow. I would love to go out to eat. I would just love to go eat, you know? Oh, Michigan. I would love to move to Michigan. I would love to move up to Canada. But you have an inch of snow already. You poor people in North Carolina and South Carolina, yeah, you don't get snow, but those hurricanes just beat the shit out of you every year. God, if it's not Florida, it's North and South Carolina. It just goes right on up and hits you guys. I've never dealt with a hurricane before. I asked my sister Cindy, who lived in Florida for 20 years, what I would love to move to Toronto. I would love to move to Toronto. Potato leek soup. You know, I bought some, this sounds gross, but I bought some oxtails about a year ago, a little over a year ago. Right before Owen died, I was going to make lentil soup with oxtails. And I never used them. They're still in the freezer. I should throw oxtails. I live in small town Iowa, right outside of Omaha. Toronto couldn't be any more boring than Omaha. It couldn't be any more boring than where I go. And so, I love Canada. I would like to move to Canada sometime. If I could move, I would move to Canada. Where I would really like to move is Ireland. They have the best weather. Cold, rainy, cloudy. My kind of weather. Unfortunately, that just, I know it sounds sucky, but I'd rather have that than 120 degrees and sand and humidity. And so, but I asked my sister Cindy what a hurricane was like, and she said it's like having a tornado sit on your house for 24 or more hours. So I just can't even begin. Even though I was laughing about that category 4 that we had at the spring. You know God is watching out over me because there's a category 4 tornado that is less than a mile from my house. And I'm outside on a ladder fooling with my security cameras on my house. God watches over idiots. And I am a perfect example of that. I just have to say. Anyway, all right, I'm going to get off here, guys. This has been wonderful. Look for me some more. I'm going to start, if I can keep them down to an hour, I'll do 3, 4, you know. Because I had spent the entire day fooling with those stupid security cameras, and the tornado didn't come until later on in the afternoon. And I was almost done with what I had to do that I had spent the entire day working on. And I didn't want to quit. I didn't want to stop at the very end because there was a tornado. And you have to understand, this is Iowa. Usually when there's a tornado, everybody goes outside to watch it. That's what ends up happening. When I went to Washington, people asked me, "Oh, you get tornadoes in the Midwest. Aren't you afraid of tornadoes?" I was way more afraid of earthquakes. I never dealt with an earthquake, but I was way more afraid of earthquakes and told them in the Midwest, people are not afraid of tornadoes. Unless it's coming at you, we're outside watching them. That's how it works. Or it has, but the weather has gotten so bizarre. It's gotten so bizarre that now it's not safe actually to go outside. I was not safe going up on a ladder with an F4 tornado less than a mile away from my house. I could have ended up in Oz. And God knows I've had enough of the Wizard of Oz training to serve me a lifetime. Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland. Bullshit. That was key parts to my training as a kid. And so I will keep up with the lives. I really appreciate you guys. And I really do appreciate you guys. Just because it irritates them, I'll end with this. My book, $30. PayPal and Venmo is just D Shurter. My first initial, my last name. Everyone runs outside when the tornadoes go off. Exactly, because everyone wants to see what the tornado looks like. You know, we all want to go watch. But I'm being bothered now again because I forgot to feed some this morning. And so I have to go. As you can tell, I have a big black pig that is just starving to death. She is starving. She is fading away to nothing. If I don't feed her right now, she is just going to fade away to nothing. Fade away to nothing. Okay. Guys, thank you. As you can tell, this isn't going to stop. This is only going to get worse. And so, all right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for those kisses. Thank you so much for those kisses. Oh, okay. I'll give you.